Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Virtual Talks with Councilwoman Estimé Irvin. As you know, we have been celebrating Government Week this entire week. We started off with cooking with Commissioner Jean Monestine. We had a business annual luncheon. We had our town hall meeting yesterday where we talked about we had different departments there, talk about all of the different resources that the city had. We had special guest State Senator Chevron Jones and State Rep Donnie Joseph. And this morning, before I got here, we did a cleanup on Pioneer Boulevard. So again, Government Week is a time that we take the opportunity for the local elected official to kind of connect with the community at home. And so today, I have another special guest, and we're going to have a whole lot of fun with none other than our school board member, Dr. Steve Gallen III. And he is here in our kitchen today.
Good morning, good morning. Very glad to be here in the kitchen of Councilwoman my good friend Estimé Irvin. I always get those tongue twister totally. Been busy over here getting ready to prep our lunch for this afternoon. Very excited to be here to not only cook up a great dish, but to have conversations relative to critical issues that affect our community. Because this is a tremendous opportunity, Councilwoman, to sit here in your kitchen, but more importantly, to collaborate and coordinate our efforts. I think that for us to be a better community, we all have to put our shoulders to the wheel collectively, stand in support and in solidarity. So again, I'm very, very excited to be here, and as we continue to talk, I'm going to continue to cook, and I'm looking forward to a very, very exciting and very enjoyable hour as I go to work.
Yes, yes, yes. So, what are you going to cook for us today?
Today I'm going to be cooking jerk chicken breast strips with spinach, onions, bell pepper, rice. Real nice dish, healthy dish. One of the things that I've always prided myself on is being healthy as it relates to diet. A lot of people spend a lot of time talking about exercising and things of that nature, but I think it's really important as it relates to what you actually eat. I'm not a vegetarian, but I have not eaten beef. I've not eaten beef or pork for 33 years.
Okay, so you're getting ahead of us, Doc, board member. Now, what are you doing? So you've mentioned what your dish is going to be, and these are what, chicken breasts?
Chicken breasts.
And you just poured some seasoning in.
Yes, I've got the chicken breast that I'm getting ready to season. I'm going to get these real good. I'm going to have my secret recipe once I get going. I just put some all-purpose seasoning, nothing fancy. You got to have that garlic flavor, that garlic tang, that sauce on it. So I'm going to go with the garlic sauce, a couple of dabs of that. Mix that up real good. That going. Soften that up a little bit. You see, you don't have anything black. It won't hit right if you don't have that black on it. So now we're going to get to the black pepper.
Okay.
Have some pepper here on this dish. And I'm a pretty fast cooker. That's one of the things you just saw. I don't mess around because, you know, having been a single parent during the course of my life, at some point I've had to get it in and get it out, you know. Yeah. You know I had to balance, as you too.
Yes.
You have to balance your career, your service, your home, not in that order. You have to balance your home first. And the most important thing we can do, not only in public service, but as family people, we have to make sure we take care of our home. And we take care of our home by taking care of our children. So talking about children while you're putting the pepper with the chicken breast here. As I mentioned earlier, Dr. Gallen is our school board member, and particularly we serve the same constituent bases. His is probably larger, but definitely he served my constituent. He is my board member. So, Dr. Gallen, what is it that a school board member does? How does it affect the everyday lives of people, but in particular, the lives of North Miami, residents of North Miami? The most important thing a school member does is sets policy for the operation of schools. The operation of schools fundamentally comes down to the actual process of teaching and learning and leadership in budgeting and school safety and curriculum and all of those areas that we think about when we look at a school system, that at the end of the day, the core technology of education takes place in a school and it takes place in a classroom. So we as board members, we set policies relative to how our schools are run.
Okay.
We hire the superintendent and related staff. We approve the annual budget. So we're responsible for those policies that really speak to the practices that take place in our schools. And by statute, we bear the ultimate responsibility for what happens in the school district. Okay. So yes, you have teachers, you have principals, you have the superintendent, but we're constitutional officers that are elected by the residents of our respective district. We have an obligation, obviously, to serve students across this district, but we do have a commitment to represent those constituents. And I represent District 1. So District 1 encompasses North Miami, which is your community. Yes. I have North Miami Beach now. Okay. I have Miami Gardens. I have Opelika. And I have the northern part of unincorporated Miami-Dade. So I cover a broad base of constituent groups, a diverse student population. One of the most challenging districts we do have in the county. But those challenges bring some tremendous rewards. Yes. As it relates to our ability to effectuate positive change in the learning and the lives of our students, and most importantly, our community and family. We got this here now. We got a little color to it. You see that black? Yes. See that black pepper?
Yes, yes.
See that black pepper? So let's see how we're gonna get going. I always test my heat, and you got a gas stove, so you're popping there. I always test my heat by taking it here and doing this. And once I hear that pop,
it's ready to go.
I know it's ready to go. So
okay.
Let's see where we're going here. That heat is working here.
Yes, it is. Do you want me to lower the fire to you?
No, I did it.
Okay.
I lowered it.
There you go. There you go.
Okay, so we're going to do this.
Okay.
We're going to let this work.
That looks good. Even to the return, that looks really good.
It looks good.
I won't have it, but it looks good.
You can have some of the space. Trying to get that going there.
So every year, one of the things that I enjoy doing with Dr. Gallen is every year since I've been elected, I attend graduation and I get to see all of the hard work that he's done, and I just want to be supportive of our seniors that graduate. Tell me a little bit about our seniors, how many of them went to Ivy League school, if you can remember all those data, or anything that you want to talk about. North Miami Senior High is one of your schools, right? Yeah.
Well, I think one of the most salient points that when we start talking about seniors and graduation, of which you have been consistent in terms of your participation at graduation, which is the culmination of a K through 12 experience, we're very proud of the fact that Miami-Dade County Public Schools now has a 90% plus graduation rate. Nice. So that's a tremendous challenge. If you look at us about 10 years ago, we were at around 70+% of a graduation rate. Now we're hitting at 90%. Obviously, we're going to continue to move forward. But the graduation process obviously does not simply speak to the students who go to college. It's about those students who go into the world of work, who go into the military, who actually do go to colleges and universities. So we obviously have to put students in a position to be successful in what I call in school and in life. And Councilwoman, I have a unique perspective because I was a high school principal for 7 years. Okay. So I understand the dynamics and most importantly, the critical nature of making sure that students are ready to go into the real world. We obviously are facing a different world than we faced when you and I were in school, and actually nearly 20 years ago when I was a principal. But nonetheless, we have to prepare students for the challenges, the ever-changing challenges that they're going to face in an ever-changing society. Challenges that speak to technology, challenges that speak to the economics, challenges that, quite frankly, speak to social, political, and cultural issues.
Yes.
But the graduation provides an opportunity for us to believe, to have hope, to have a spirit of optimism, and to celebrate not only the success of the students, but to celebrate the success of the families, the educators, and everybody who put their shoulder to the wheel of work to bring those young people to that particular point in their lives. So looking forward to it for the class of 2023. I know, God willing, you will be right there with us on that stage, and hopefully God will give me a message to impart to the graduates of North Miami Senior High School and all of the high schools that I represent. So we're going to let that kind of cook a little bit.
It looks good. It's almost ready.
It's almost ready. Now we got to move around a little bit. Yeah, keep it going. Keep it going. You got it? Because I have some more in here.
Okay.
Oh, it's okay. You got it right there. So you're not eating meat. How you?
I'm not, but I cook it for my friends and family.
Okay.
So we just went through the pandemic, and how was that changed? How did that affect? How did that affect the education process during the pandemic? And what was done?
I think the effect that it had, not that I know the effect that it had on education was quite frankly in terms of how education is viewed and is perceived. Prior to the pandemic, yes, we all love our schools, we all love our teachers and our principals, but I don't think the importance and the value and the respect that educators deserve was really being demonstrated. Once we shuttered our schools, it became quickly noticed that schools were at the epicenter of how things are made normal in our society. People had to go to work.
Yeah.
Schools play a very important role in making sure that parents have supervision. Children get meals, they get education, they get supervision, they're able to participate in activities. But when the schools shuttered, that had a significant impact on the overall operation of our community and quite frankly, of society. So I think there became a quick recognition that these schools that serve millions of children play a vital role in terms of how our society functions or does not function.
Yeah.
And that's where the major debate came about, to open or to not open, because the opening of schools served as a pivotal point to measure whether or not we're getting back to a sense of normalcy. Yes, the businesses were open, that's great. Public entities were open, that's great. Malls were open, restaurants were open, but the determination, the major litmus test for how close we were getting back to things being normal was whether or not our schools were open. Right. And our teachers deserve a tremendous amount of credit because they had to transition very quickly to a new mode of educational delivery. Virtual learning is something that was out there, but it was isolated to a certain segment of parents, a certain segment of students and families, but that became a very universal platform in which we delivered instruction through virtual learning and technology. There were a number of hiccups during that time. We learned a lot of lessons as a district, as a state, and as a nation, but I think the most important lesson I hope that many people took away was how important educators are to the overall functioning of our society.
Yes. And one of the things on our end, locally as a city, we try to do is we realize the need of the broadband and how important that was so that our kids had access to technology. As much, we knew that the school board was doing what they did, but we also made sure that parents had access to technology and students had access to technology. I thought that was a really big one.
And education is the great unifier, I believe. That is something that has always been nonpartisan, whether you're black, white, rich, poor, gay, straight, Latino, every one of us met at the center of education as it relates to our children, our schools, and our community. So, we all had a vested interest to make sure that education was being effectuated accordingly, and that was an opportunity for us to really see how our partners, such as the city of North Miami, came together with the school district to make sure that we did all that we could do, whether it was providing meals and supplies and resources. We all came together to do that. But I think this is another opportunity for us to not simply give our teachers pats on the back, but to really reinforce how important our school system is, how important our teachers are, Florida is ranked about 47th in educational funding for teacher salaries. But we at the local level over the past several years really made an investment in education that has paid tremendous dividends. For 2 years, Miami-Dade County Public Schools has been rated an A-rated district, one of only 14 of 67 counties across the state, and we're number 8 in terms of where we rank as an A school, as an A district.
All right, again, Mr. Vice Chair, I forgot to mention that. You're the Vice Chair.
Yeah, I'm the Vice Chair of the school district. And again, this is a testament to our teachers, to our custodians, to our cafeteria workers who feed our children, to our bus drivers who transport our children, to those who keep our schools clean and safe, to our school resource officers that keep our children safe and help us to comply with the rules and regulations of the state regarding school safety. So again, it's been a community effort, and our community once again will have an opportunity to show their support. So I will say, vote 210, support our teachers, vote for the continuation of our amendment for teacher salaries and school safety. And again, that's how we show our appreciation, because across this country, Councilwoman, not simply in Miami-Dade, not simply in the state of Florida, but across the country, there's a significant challenge with the recruitment, retention, and rewarding of teachers. And Florida obviously has an even more difficult time. That gas doesn't play, huh?
It does not.
That gas does not play.
Yes.
I love it. I keep cutting it up. So we have an opportunity to at least offset some of the challenges that we have fiscally regarding how we pay our teachers and compensate them. And that's going to be critically important moving forward, especially on November 8th.
So what? Yeah, absolutely. So I hope if there's anything that you should take in Government Week is exercise your civic right to vote. Go ahead and vote. Educate yourself on who's leading you and who's leaving and coming in. Educate and go and vote. One issue that I'd like to talk about, we didn't even talk about it, so we're so busy talking about what we do every day and what you'd be aware. So now we're working on spinach.
Spinach and looking for the bell peppers.
Bell peppers. We have bell peppers, and I'm about to get them in the fridge.
All right. I want my bell peppers. I want my onions.
Do you want green? Do you want onions?
I got onion over here, but you can give me an onion.
Coming up.
See, we in education have to learn to multitask.
Yes.
We stay focused.
Yes.
We keep it going. Give me one of them nice big fat green ones.
You want any colored ones?
You know what? Give me red. Give me a red one.
Okay. Red coming up. Is this too small or?
No, that's good. That'll give us a little color.
Yeah, we're doing this off the cuff somewhat.
That'll give us a little color.
So one of the things that I'd like to touch, and it's a very sensitive subject, especially in Black and Brown communities, is to talk about mental illness. And we've been noticing that there's more mental illness in younger kids. Mm-hmm. How is the school board dealing with that, and what are some of the programs that you have? I know that during the pandemic, when we receive our American Rescue Act money, we put some dollars aside because some people were dealing with the pandemic and didn't know how to deal with it, so we addressed some of the mental issues. What did you do on your education side? Or
you know that, and it's funny that you introduced it as a difficult topic to talk about, but actually it's really not. The whole issue of mental health is not a novel concept. There's been mental health support for different people in certain segments of the community for decades, but subsequent to the pandemic, it's gotten obviously an increased attention. But even before the pandemic, with the horrific act of violence that took place in Miami, Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, there's been a real focus on looking at the mental health of our students. We've had some students that have been involved in, even recently, in suicide attempts. But I must say that the issue of mental health is not a new concept in the Black community. It's something that we have to be a lot more transparent about. I say amongst men, we have to be more willing to seek assistance. We must relinquish some degree of empathy and concede to our vulnerabilities about how we feel emotionally and get the help that we need. Obviously, the pandemic has exacerbated it because, education in schools is obviously an academic endeavor, but schools and education and public schools, that's a social experiment. So when that social experiment is interrupted, what I mean by that is there's the experiment of interaction. There's the experiment of face-to-face contact. There's the experiment of what children look forward to each and every day in terms of socializing with their peers. And that was significantly disrupted. And so that disruption obviously has an emotional toll. There's a psychological price that has to be paid. And obviously the state recognized it, the federal government recognized it, and our district really recognized it because we not only made investments in mental health strategies, but we are one of the few districts across the state, if not one of the only districts across the state, that took those funds and established a mental health department. So we have a full-fledged department that is dedicated to mental health. And so those are some of the things that we are addressing with mental health counselors, social workers, psychologists, and again, being a lot more intentional about addressing the needs of our students. So I got right here spinach, red peppers, green peppers. We're going to saute these as nicely as we can. I got a little black pepper on it. Always got to put the black pepper on it to keep that color going. And let's see how we can get this whipped up a little bit to the extent that we can. Okay. A little more olive oil.
Olive oil.
Yes.
That's extra virgin.
Absolutely. And so recently we've even seen more students attempt suicide. More students fall victim to some of the mental health crises that we face. And we just have to continue to persevere, continue to provide the resources and support that we can, and continue to look for the signs.
I was just about to ask the questions. What are some of the signs that you would advise both educators and parents that, and I know it's kind of hard, but what are some of the ones?
Yeah, in education and quite frankly with the DNA of human beings, one size doesn't fit all, but there are some common indicators: solitude, depression, anger, grades declining, disinterested in school, disinterested in communicating. A lot of times people expect that the communication will be very obvious, but people who are going through some mental and social and emotional depression, they're the least communicative individuals. So you have to kind of lean in. As parents, you have to lean in. As educators, you have to lean in. And when I say lean in, you have to almost lead that level of engagement around this particular issue.
Okay.
So here we go. We got this going here. You got some butter?
Looks good. We have butter.
Gotta have some butter. Let me just stick some butter on this.
And here we go with our butter. Looking good.
We ain't get to the cook chart yet.
There you go. So how much butter? I just need to do something.
Yeah.
Just a couple. So
that one, put it one side, put some over there.
I did something. And one more?
Yeah. Put it in the middle. Just put it in the middle. I did that. All right, there. There we go.
Butter.
Now I'm missing the last thing that we all dread. What do we dread? Onions.
Onions. Oh no.
I need onions. You dread it?
No.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and cut some onions for you. How do you want it? Julian style?
Well, I'm just kind of old school. So take it here.
So for you that are just tuning in, we have some chicken breast, well seasoned.
We ain't even get ready for how that's gonna be.
Yeah, we have vegetables. It looks good. It looks good.
So
so good.
The pandemic and the events to follow shed a spotlight on some of the challenges and issues we have as a country outside of education. Sadly, education was used as a platform for us to air out some of those issues. And those issues as I started out by saying, education is a space and a place that often unites us. Education has been used as a tool in some spaces to divide us. And that's something that we have to kind of work through, we have to navigate through, and we have to fight through for our communities, for our families, but most importantly, for our children. And Miami-Dade County Public Schools has been resolute in that fight. We've been resolute in making sure that we keep the main thing, and that we keep education at the forefront of what we do, despite some of the dynamics that are at play, around the country, around the state, as it relates to some of the issues of education. And so we are going to persevere. We just need our parents, our community members, our elected officials such as you, to continue to stand with us on behalf of our children.
Yes.
On behalf of our children.
They're our future. So
see what we got here? We got some spinach.
Yeah.
See this here?
Did you put the onions already?
Got some onions in there. Bell peppers. Olive oil.
And it's making its own little
there it is. It's making its own sauce.
Yeah.
See, when you put that olive oil in there, and you put that butter in there, that's when you get that sauce. There we go. There we go. Now I'm going to put a little dab of something there. Give it a little flavor. Give it a little garlic.
Is this your daughter's favorite meal?
Chicken is probably one of them, but she can't do the chicken the way that I'm about to do it.
Okay.
Because you all think we're done with the chicken as is, but we haven't gotten to the good part yet. So you're going to start sweating, and I got 2 pieces left, by the way. So we're going to let that sit there.
Okay, so what are we doing next?
We're going to take this jerk sauce, and we went with the hot and spicy Boston jerk seasoning. This is the paste. If you smell it, it's going to make your head start to sweat. And I love it. I love it. So, because it's so intense, and I don't know why I'm letting you give away my secrets here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm giving away the secret. But that's okay. They can't do it like I do. So, I'm going to take this paste, put it there, and there's no way we can take this alone and go with it. It's too rough. That's too intense. Too intense. So now we're going to take this, which I won't tell you.
Yeah, there's a lot of this and this that I can't share. Sorry, guys. Must be some family secret recipe.
I'll tell you what it is. You got the jerk that's spicy, and I'm adding honey to the jerk to soften it and sweeten it up.
And so you're going to put that in the meat?
Yep, that's going with the chicken. You got to get it to a certain place. Some people say they wanted some of this. I don't know if they're going to be ready for this spiciness. So now, you see how it went from the paste to more of a sauce. You see that? Right here.
It smells good to me.
Yes, went from a space to like a sauce. And now, we're going to let the magic happen. But I think we are pretty good here with our vegetables, with our grain. So we're going to put that over here. Now we're going to come back over here. Okay. We're going to come back over here. And now, add a little more fire to it. And good luck.
It smells so good. Oh my goodness.
So now, we'll take that. let that go sit in there a little bit.
And it's going to darken?
It's going to darken a little bit. You smell it now? You smell it?
Yeah.
You smell it?
Sure do.
Now it's giving it a little color, which I do want some more, but I'm not going to push the envelope. There we go. There we go. The sauce is coming down. That's why I had to cut the fire up a little bit. We have a great party. I'm going to have to take this pot with me.
Sorry, Mommy gave it to me.
Yeah.
She's like, this is the best thing you need to cook on. Stainless steel. It's healthier for you. And I get all the lectures.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this.
Great.
Look at this. So there's been a big debate in public education recently, obviously, dealing with the issue of parental voice, which I've said is not a new concept.
Of parental
voice. Parental involvement, the parental bill of rights, things of that nature. But parents have always had an active voice, an active role, and have always been invited. I mean, I've always felt that parents were actively involved in the educational decision making of their child. Obviously, there are more specific laws that are on the books that we have to be mindful of, but it's nothing that the school district, I felt, had to really pivot from, because we've always had systems in place to make sure that parents are able to be involved in the education of their children. Whether it's a child, that's having an IEP or an EP, whether it's a parent that wants to go out to a school and volunteer. We always had a system for parents to chaperone on field trips. And again, our schools are there to serve the parents and be responsive to the needs of their children. But obviously, that's been a real amplified discourse that we kind of deal with, but it's one that we readily embrace as a school district. See how that turned brown on us?
Yeah, nice strong smell too.
See that? See that? Then you got
it's strong.
You got to hit one piece here, because you have to make sure on the inside it's cooked. So it's cooked on the inside, and you start breaking up some of the pieces. You see, listen, I'm able to cut this with the spatula. That tells you it's nice and tender.
Yeah.
Very tender. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. We're cutting it with the spatula. When you can cut it with the spatula,
you know
it's tender. Cut it with the spatula. No, that's the spice. That's the spice.
Spice is really strong.
That's the spice. So you got the spice going. You got that going. And I think we're about to bring some of this in for a landing. Now, I'm going to take a shortcut. For those of you who understand the busyness of us parents and elected officials and working families, Ben's has a good resolution. 90-minute jasmine rice. Love this rice. 90-minute jasmine rice. 90-second, I'm sorry.
90 seconds.
90 seconds.
Interesting.
Jasmine rice. So, you're going to take
me a whole hour to cook a rice.
Okay.
90
That's
seconds.
where you got to go.
All right.
Where's my microwave?
Right here.
90-second jasmine rice. You're going to put it in here.
All right. You got it?
You're going to go 90 seconds.
So there were some issues over the summer about what books can be taught and what subjects can be taught, and so what was the final resolution, or could you give us a little bit of a plan of what that was?
The issue had to do with the adoption of health and reproductive textbooks.
Okay.
The state established new criteria relative to certain elements that can or cannot be included in textbooks. When it starts talking about sexuality and gender, and it has to be age appropriate. The state in and of itself had a process by which they even did not approve certain textbooks until adjustments were made by the publisher. So Miami-Dade County Public Schools had a process that was supported by state statute in which our committee was established. Materials were vetted by teachers, parents, and related experts. Recommendations were made. Petitions were filed against the textbook. That went through a process in which a hearing officer, which is an independent representative, made a determination that the district followed all procedures, that the materials were age appropriate,
I think and that 90 seconds,
90 seconds are up.
Let's see.
That the materials were age appropriate, and if a parent took exception with what was being taught, there was an opt-out provision. So a parent did not have to have their children, being able to access that. You see how fluffy this jasmine rice is? Look at that, look at that, look at that.
Okay. So are we done yet?
So that went through a particular process. The board initially didn't approve it. We came back relative to the need to comply with our obligation under statute to adopt a curriculum. So if you have a curriculum that's required in statute, and you don't have the materials to teach the curriculum, then the curriculum can't be taught and you can't comply with statute. So we made a determination, and the board came back and voted on that material, and it was approved, and we have that in place. So now, I'm pretty anal about my kitchen. I can't do much of anything until I kind of get organized.
Okay.
So I want to take some of this stuff and clean up.
Let's do it.
I like to clean as I go. And I think I'm going to need another, let me just, you know what, let me do another rice while I'm cleaning.
Okay.
Multitasking.
I will help with the cleaning.
Put that right there.
So if you're just joining in, Dr. Steve Gowan, Vice Chair of Miami Public School Board, just made some rice, some jerk chicken, some,
I'm still holding that.
Yeah, some fresh vegetables, spinach and greens, and we're about to see the end result, but we're just cleaning up.
Gotta clean up.
Is there anything else that you'd like to share, or anything else that you're working on this year, or any other goals that you have for the school? Any word that you'd like to give to the parents and students?
Well, I want to say that despite the cacophony of the day with respect to many of the issues that we talk about from a political standpoint, from a social standpoint, from a cultural standpoint, our teachers, our schools, our administrators are doing a phenomenal job. They are doing a phenomenal job. So I think that's the most important thing that we need to have represented in our community, and that's where we need to get the most confidence from the Miami-Dade County Public Schools, is that our children are safe, they're being taught, our teachers are committed, our principals and our school leaders are engaged, our faculty and staff are really putting their shoulder to wheel to ensure that we achieve our primary purpose. This spice is like all.
Yes, it is.
Are putting the shoulder to the wheel of the work to make sure that we achieve our primary mission, and that is to prepare all of our children for learning, high learning levels, but most importantly, to prepare them for life. So we're doing it as a district. We must continue to do it collectively with your support, members of the community, the family, because this has to be a collective effort. So there we go.
I did it.
You did it. Got more rice here, and now.
So let's plate it for them.
I'm so anal. I gotta wipe the counter.
Okay, wipe the counter.
I just can't. I can't. Let me add a sponge or something.
Here we go.
Well, I gotta get this stuff off first. So.
Okay.
Nice.
So we see that our educator here, our doctor, is super clean.
I can't.
You can see how meticulous he is. You can imagine how he is with our kids. So that's good to hear.
I can't
this a little
sit
bit.
and function until we're gonna plate it.
We are going to plate it. Well, I'll do more cleaning before we plate it. And here's the plate. Did you see the plate?
How many plates we got? One?
We'll have one.
You want rice and vegetables?
Well, let's plate it so that everyone can see what it looks like, and then I'll do. So for everyone that already knows, I'm a vegetarian, but today we had our guest. I've been doing this for a couple of years now, and it's a pleasure to bring someone in and have our guests cook their favorite dish. So this is what's happening today.
So here we go. I'm going to do some rice, not much. What I'm going to do now, I need another spoon for this.
For it, sure.
You know, I'm going to go here. I got this right now.
You got it?
I'm not bougie yet.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
And then we have something for the...
No, this is, no, look, here we go. Y'all should see the people in here. They looking at this food in the background. They taking pictures, but they like,
yeah, hurry up.
One plate. You need another plate. Another plate.
Probably need a little bit more rice, you think?
No, I intentionally didn't want to go too strong on my rice starch. You have to watch my starch, but if you want
to, the Caribbean in me, the Haitian in me. Rice.
Yeah. I guess if you want to see it for aesthetics, you can add a little bit over here. So there.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Gallen's dish. All right.
Jerk, honey, chicken breast, spinach, onions, red and green bell peppers, and jasmine rice. Let's get it.
Dr. Gallen, it was a pleasure having you today. Thank you for all of the great nuggets that you shared with us. Thank you for what you do for our community. Any last words?
No, just thank you for having me into your beautiful home, into your kitchen. Thank you for the work that you do. You have been a committed public servant, but I've often seen that you have a very special place for education in our schools and our children in your heart. So continue to keep that in your heart. Know that you have a partner in us at Miami-Dade County Public Schools, and as long as I'm your school board member, you have a partner in me. So again, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
Aww. Guys, another edition of Virtual Talks for Government Week. Thank you so much. And now we're going to get ready to go down. So thank you for tuning in. I believe do we have any more activities? So tomorrow, what do we have? I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember the activities that we have. Well, anyways, stay tuned. Yes, so stay tuned for all of the other. I hope that you take some time to go back and look at follow us on social media. You can follow me, Councilwoman Estimé Irvin, on almost all social media platforms. You can go ahead and follow North Miami, also North Miami on all social media platforms. Dr. Gallen, I know you're big on social media platforms.
Follow me on Twitter at Dr. Steve Gallen. On Instagram, the Dr. Gallen, full written out, DOCTORGALLON, and Facebook, Dr. Steve Gallen III and Steve Gallen III. And now I'm on TikTok. Can you imagine that? I'm on TikTok.
I haven't gotten there yet, but I think I'm getting there.
So this was not make believe. I'm about to eat. I'm about to get it. Now I'm waiting for something to drink because some water is going to be.
And here you go. You'll get some water. But again, thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time.